Hello everyone, welcome to another very exciting tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can create these text areas that when you type in, it kind of limits to a certain number of characters. So let's get started. I'm going to go to Codenest Online Frontend Editor as always, and I'm just going to dive in and create a container. And within the container, let's put a label, label/label. Maybe a label like enter your comment here, and then I'm gonna put a text area and the same text area, and here as you can see, it actually it's as if it's display inline because label doesn't have display block on it. I'm going to CSS. I'm gonna say label display block, right? Now you can see that they end up one after the other like this. Now let's we created a container class, so let's make it like width 60% and let's give some sort of a margin of 10 pixel. All right, and then for the label, maybe increase the size to 18 pixel. Uh, as always, I'm going to go to cotus.com and then take the front end and our Kotlin UI framework, taking this CSS of the library here just because it gives me a better font. Going to let's just do it like this. I'm gonna import it. So import URL and then pass these. Already I'm getting a better font here. I would like to have my labels have a margin bottom of 10 pixel. So I have this nice thing here. Now I'm gonna go and style my text area. So text area, let's give it a width of 100% so it kind of fulfills the whole container, which was 60% of the body. And now I will give it a border of 2 pixels, solid, maybe 666. All right, and then I will give it a border radius of maybe 5 pixel. Maybe it's too much, 3 pixel. And I will basically give my parent container something like 30 pixel on top and then maybe 10 pixel on left and right. Looks good. Now my text area, I'm going to give it a bit of a height here. So height maybe 100 pixel. Looking good. If you want, so in Chrome when you hover on it, you get this outline. If you don't like it, just do outline none. So now when you click on it, that blue kind of shade goes away. It's recommended that you have it because of accessibility, but I mean, if you don't like it, it's your call. Now, there's also this thing with text areas that you can resize. If you, it sometimes overlaps with text, it just breaks your layout. The way to disable this is actually here, just say resize none. So now that guy is gone. Now I want to style a little bit my text areas text, maybe font size 16 pixel, give it a bit of a padding, like maybe 10 pixel, and then give a background color to my text area, maybe something like this. Yes, so far I like it. So here is my comment, blah, blah, blah. Now, what we want to do is to sort of put some sort of a character limit and present it over here so that the user knows how many characters they are supposed to type, right? And they are allowed to type. What I'm going to go to HTML. Under the text area, I'm just going to add a div. And then inside this, I will say uh, maybe number of characters left and then maybe put 40 here. Uh, Now this is the number that is going to change based on the number of times I type here, right? So instead I will put it actually in a span. So as you can see, nothing has changed here, but I'm just going to give it a class, maybe counter. What I'm going to do in my JavaScript now, I'm just going to create container. Then I know that I named it counter. I will, sorry, in JavaScript, I just need to get a reference. So I would call it counter. So I change it to const counter equals to document dot query selector, and I will say container counter, right? Because it's within my container as well. Then you don't need to put this container as long as you only have one class with container, but say you have multiple counters in your page, then you want to make sure you are updating the correct one, which is, for example, one way is to say the one that is within my this container, which I did over here, right? Now I have to have a reference to my text area as well. So I'm just going to say const text area. Let's call my text area, give it a class maybe limited text area, let's call it like that. And then here I'm just going to say my text area maybe, or limited text area. And then again document dot query selector, and then I would say limited text area, right? Now, I'm just going to bring up the console in Chrome here so that we can see actually what happens here. So if I say limited text area, and then I just say add event listener, and then key down. Let me just remove this error so that we have a better key down, and then I pass a function with the E as a parameter, which is the event that I have when I type. And then here I would just say console log uh, e.target.value, right? Because that's what this refers to. So if I start typing, you can see that it shows the results here. But I don't want to do that. So I will put like a max count here as a variable. And then I say maybe 40 characters, right? I'm going to go ahead. It's already 40. It's saying 40. Otherwise, I can update it. So my max count is 40. Now, when the user starts typing, I want to decrease this number, right? And the way to do it is that on this handler, I just say max count equals to max count minus 1. And then I do have the counter reference here, so I just say counter.inner.html equals to max count, right? Now, if I start typing, you can see that it updates this character limit here. But the thing is that if I type, it will go all the way down, right? So I have to make sure that when the character reaches to 0, it actually stops counting, right? So here I would say if max count equals to 0, then e.prevent default. So do not do what you're supposed to do, which is like getting and sort of registering this key down event that I put. So now if I start typing, you will see that well, it didn't really work because the max count is, yeah, it should, okay, I have to return in the function as well. So if max count equals to 0, which it ends up being 0, just e.prevent default and then return. So now if I start typing, I expect that when it reaches to 0, it stops, right? And that is exactly what happened. Now I'm actually typing right now, but it doesn't let me do anything. Now, what if now I want to go, I'm pressing backspace now to clear out the text and nothing happens because the max count is 0 and it will just prevent the default event, which is just registering any key. So nothing really happens over here. So what I need to do is just say and e.key is not backspace, right? So if I start typing now, it's going to stop at 0. As you can see, I'm typing, nothing happens. But now if I press backspace, it actually starts working, right? But the problem is that it will start working, but it will count this one, right? It will just decrease. So I have to actually do a check here if the key that I'm pressing is backspace. What you need to do is, instead of decreasing the max count, you have to add it, because then the user has the more characters to type, and then set the counter dot inner HTML again to max count, right? But then this is just in case of the backspace, and then we do else for all the characters that are not backspace, which is pretty much any other character. I actually will put this code inside that else, right? So what it really means is that if the key that I'm pressing is backspace, increase the max limit or max count, and set it. Otherwise, if it's any other character, you just decrease the number, right? So now if I start typing, you will see that it goes to 0. Now if I press the backspace, it actually will go all the way up, right? But now we have another problem, right? If I press the backspace all the way, it will actually start increasing the number without checking. So we have to actually add another check here. So we want to prevent the default. We want to prevent the registering of the keys if this happens, right? So I would put in this if, or if max count equals to 40 this time, and the e.key is actually equals to backspace. Now I want to prevent, right? So now if I start typing, you will see that it says, okay, you have 8 more, okay, now it's 0. And I'm typing right now, nothing happens. Now I'm going to press backspace all the way. I'm just going to press backspace, and then boom, it's 40, and I'm still pressing backspace, and nothing is happening. So yeah, that's about it. This is like the simplest kind of character count limit sort of text area that this code you can use in your projects. I'm gonna put the link to this prototype down in the descriptions. Go ahead and play with it, and don't forget again to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Like and share, and I hope to see you next time. Enjoy the day and have a good day and night. Goodbye.